Lions TV, this is your post-match analysis video for yesterday's 3-0 win against Rotherham United at the Den, off the back of a reverse scoreline against Leeds at the Den also on Sunday. 3-0 of course. Gary Rowett needed a big response from his players and he got it in emphatic and dominant fashion. As always, let's start out by taking a look at the 11 that the gaffer picked to start the match. Okay, so there was only one change made from the team that lost against Leeds on Sunday. That was Billy Mitchell out and the Bermondsey Bergkamp Zian Fleming back in the starting 11. That, of course, made us a little bit more attacking with one in behind a two. And we absolutely dominated the game from start to finish. People will point to the opposition that they're not strong and they're definitely not strong enough for this division. But as I said, I think we have definitely scoped, if we haven't already, where we are now. Some teams are better than us, other teams are not as strong, and I think the league table is early, so it could be a little bit of a false position, but I don't think it is. I think that's pretty much where we're going to finish, exactly where we are in the division. The starting 11 was Barkowski in goal, 3 centre-backs, Ryan Leonard, Jake Cooper and Murray Wallace. Norton Cuffy, right wing-back, Ryan Longman, left wing-back, Casper Denor and Alan Campbell in the middle of midfield. And as we've already mentioned, it was the Bermondsey Bergkamp, Zian Fleming off the mark for the season. In behind, the duo of Tom Bradshaw and Kevin Nisbet. I got to the Den literally about 2 minutes after kick-off yesterday. I started the stream about 10 minutes after that because my laptop weren't charged. And the stream actually cut out just before the final goal went in. So if you did watch the stream, apologies for that. I'm stretching myself at the minute between Lions TV stuff and other work commitments, and it's a fucking struggle. And I'm still always skinned. I can't work out what's going on. But look, yeah, that's going to happen, unfortunately. That's why I didn't get a preview out for the Rotherham game. My other work commitments are slowing down now for the next few weeks, couple of weeks at least. So I'll definitely be able to catch up on your videos, get the streams nicely prepped and out on time. I'd actually travelled back from up north yesterday to get to the game. I still wasn't sure if I was going to the game right up until about 1 o'clock. So that's my excuse and I'm sticking with it. Look, the game starts and from as soon as I got there until the minute I left at full time, we was dominant, absolutely dominant. Rotherham brought about 200 fans. It was a really, really low home crowd as well. To be expected, really, the Revel was atrocious. We've been in and out of form. Bipolar Millwall strikes again. Good result, bad result. But look, as I said, I think there's 7 games now, 3 wins, 3 losses and a draw. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a Millwall existence. And, you know, people saying to me, do you want us to lose today? This was last night. To Rowett can go, look, I've become accustomed to what football is under Gary Rowett. It's not always exciting, but he definitely hasn't taken us backwards. You know, he's definitely carried on, in my opinion. Neil Harris got us back up and kept us there. And Rowett slowly sort of kept that at the level. I do feel we've got better players than we've ever had. And we're not really performing. But I think last night, from the off, you could see, look, I criticised Norton Cuffy in my Leeds post-match. But I thought he was flying in the early stages of yesterday. Definitely, you know, getting forward, covering good ground where he can, full of beans. And he looked better. We looked better as well on the attack. You know, getting balls into the forwards. They were holding it up, laying it off, little 3-man moves, and that's exactly what happens early on when Nisbet lays it off to Bradshaw. Bradshaw takes it round a defender and strikes it over from distance. So we was putting together those 3-man moves. We was playing good football. Casper Denor played really well. You know, as I said, Norton Cuffy was involved and definitely better. He was always there in an instant when he could be, you know, taking on their defenders. I feel he gets on too much sometimes and he gets caught out defensively and leaves us isolated. But where Rotherham maybe weren't such a good side, we could do those things and put those moves together, and Norton Cuffy could get forward in an instant without having to get back so much and cover the ground. You know, so I just think, as I said, you know, I think it's in quite simple terms. This is a post-match analysis and I try and pick the bones out of things. But very, very simply, Leeds were a level above us and Rotherham are definitely a level below us, and that is what it is in this division. It was nice to see last night. You can only beat what's put in front of you. I'm taking nothing away from the team and the manager and the performance. You know, we've seen that many times at the Den, midweek, dark, cold, rainy, low crowd, no interest, and I've seen the struggle against teams throughout the years, but we definitely didn't do that last night. We was on the front foot, start to finish. You know, and by the time we got our goal, it was very, very well deserved. Ryan Longman receives the ball from Alan Campbell. And Longman is one, I criticised Norton Cuffy in my Leeds post-match, but Longman was one that I definitely praised. I thought he'd done really well. Considering he's not primarily right-footed, however, to praise him again, he is very good with both feet. Always looking to get on the ball, always looking to hurt the opposition. He's got tricks to get past players. He's got good distribution with both feet. He's confident and composed on the ball. And I thought he played well against Leeds, considering, you know, as his first start at the den out of position. And last night, he shows us what he's capable of. Mark Beard did tell me. And when he signed on deadline day, I put 3 or 4 videos out, and his was the least viewed one. I don't think that's anything to do with my presenting skills. I just think he was the one that people were the least excited about. But I think, for me, he's been the best one out of him, Norton Cuffy. I know he didn't come on deadline day. And Alan Campbell so far. I think he looks really good, really strong. As I said, versatile as well. We know Gary Rowett likes that. And it's his decision to make now for Rowett. I'll cover that some more in the West Brom preview. But Joe Bryan's now fit again. Norton Cuffy, I'd like to see him play high if we revert to one striker, which I think we probably will do now. Kevin Nisbet will cover it in a minute. I'd also like to see him play right wing back because I think he's better than McNamara and Norton Cuffy. And I'd like to see him link up with Ryan Leonard. So definitely good options, strong options. And a really good signing, looks like for me, Ryan Longman. He comes in, cuts in, the goal again is one I say, you know, when I watch the goals back on ITV or whatever it is, why don't we score goals like that? It's a fucking great strike. He's only got his mind on one thing when he receives that ball. It's getting a yard. And by the time he did it, there were sort of Rotherham players covering. There weren't a lot of space to hit. He curls it round the goalkeeper. I said it in real time in the live stream into the top corner. It wasn't actually in the top corner, but it was perfectly placed. And he well deserved his goal on the night. Then after that, we keep pressing and coming forward. You know, good shot from distance from the North keeper saves. I think there's a couple of headers in there from crosses or set pieces. Their keeper saves. And we go in at half time, definitely comfortable, thinking more of the same in the second half. Don't sit back. And their goalkeeper's been worked. We're 1-0 up. And we couldn't have any complaints. Second half was just definitely more one-way traffic. The only, of course, two situations that weren't good for us in the second half. Kevin Nisbet goes to receive a pass on the touchline over by the Docker stand, and he just collapses. No one near him. No Rotherham player, no Millwall player. I thought he turned his knee at first, and I was dreading it was going to be the old ACL again. As he goes down, he's banging the ground. He's clearly in a lot of pain. Luckily, it was nice to see, shall I say, him limp off, walk off. He walked and he wasn't stretching, is what I'm getting at. Never nice to see one of our players hurt, injured, or limping. But yeah, he walked off with the physio. There was no stretcher involved, so Gary Rowett said after the game it didn't look good. Obviously, we all saw that. You know, him punching the ground, no one near him. Never a good sign. I remember a guy called Steve Stone. Remember that guy? Played for Nottingham Forest midfield, Aston Villa. I remember him doing that once. He went to receive a pass and he just fell backwards and collapsed. He'd done his knee and he was out for fucking about a year. So hopefully it's good news for Nisbet. Norton Cuffy, of course, also went off injured in the game after an attempt to target in the second half. But yeah, getting back to the second half, look, I praised Leeds for how clinical they were in front of goal. We scored 3 really good goals last night. I actually didn't realise how good the other 2 were until I watched them back this morning on the highlights. The second goal, ball comes into the box, good work from Watmore, cuts back, it's cleared away momentarily, and Zian Fleming shows us what he's capable of again. Didn't think it was his greatest game last night, but we want him back in the side, and we want him firing, especially now we could be down to one striker. But he gets out of his feet, and he just does that thing sometimes where he looks like he's a bit cumbersome and a bit lethargic, but he's not. He just manages to find space in the box and he picks his spot really, really well. Drilled across on his weak foot, left-footed into the far corner, and it's a really, really good second. But then again, we didn't rest on our laurels. We continued to come forward and we had that third, and again, it's just a reaction shot from Bradshaw, but brilliantly fired into the roof of the net. I spoke to my man this morning and he said, yeah, really good game, he enjoyed watching it, but what he also enjoyed was who scored, and that's a really good point from old Lenny. You don't get a lot of coverage on the channel, but yeah, well done, Dad. That was a good spot because Bradshaw and Fleming both scored last night. Both off the mark for the season, or has Bradshaw already scored? I'm not sure, but Fleming definitely hasn't. And those 2 now, with Nisbet looking potentially at a spell on the sidelines, that's definitely going to be the way to go for us. Of course, they scored something like 30-odd goals between them last season, so good to see both them back on a score sheet. Good to see a smile back on the crowd's face as well, and the players like those playing full of confidence. Gary Rowett, your football's all right, was chanted towards full time. So look, I really hope we're over that spell now. That conversation has been dragging on now for a long, long time. I'm just going to say it again. I think that We're better than some teams in this division, and we're not as good as others. It's a stronger division than it's been for a long time, in my opinion, this season. And looking at the league table, the teams that are up there, I didn't expect to be up there. I know it's only early, but I'm talking about Preston, I'm talking about Ipswich and Bristol City. They'll probably fall away, and we'll be all right this season. We definitely will. We're too disciplined. We're too difficult to beat at times. I'm not counting the Leeds game. We very rarely ship 3-4 goals in a game. We are a well-drilled, established championship side now. Maybe not always entertaining and, brilliantly exciting going forward, but it was last night, and I thought it was a really, really good performance. We had 69% possession in the first half. That's an absolute rarity. And yes, Rotherham were shit. I am aware of that. But you can only beat what's put in front of you. They got promoted. And look at Rotherham. Up, down. I say this about teams like Norwich, that they yo-yo between the champ and the Premier League. Rotherham are a prime example. Yo-yo between League One and the Championship. We're not doing that as a club. I said this in my live last night. Look at the teams we was competing against 4 or 5 years ago. Bradford, Southend, Chesterfield, Oldham, to name a few. They're all knocking around in League 2 / non-league. So sometimes we need to, I think, take a little bit of stock, especially in that sense, in the sense of the budget we've got. Okay, Rout's not always going to excite us, but he's here and he's doing a job, and sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for. I'll point again to the Man Uniteds of this world. Charlton, even since Lee Bowyer's gone, absolutely capitulated. So we didn't lose Harris and then get a manager or 2 or 3 managers and flatline. Do you know what I mean? We definitely have kept on the same sort of pathway. Are we running on a treadmill and not really getting anywhere? Maybe, but I just don't think we're anywhere near going up, and we'll probably get promoted now. But look, it is what it is. It's a Mill existence. Win one, lose one, draw one, have a good time, a few beers with your mates, and hopefully, like last night, you'll get a few performances that can be exciting. It has happened before under Rout. Watford on the telly, to point back to one Tom Bradshaw first half hat-trick. It can happen. Maybe just the way Leeds played, maybe they're just that little level above that we couldn't get into those areas and we couldn't find that space. But last night, it shows you, I think, what would happen if we God forbid, did go back down to League One with the squad we got, because we've got a good bunch of players. I just would like to see, and I'm not counting last night, when we come up against Leeds, should we have gone with that 10 and should we have tried to do what we did? If I'm honest, I don't think it would have made much difference. Yeah, but there you go. Look, that's your post-match analysis done. I think we sit 11th in the table. We travel to West Brom on Saturday. I'm not going Saturday. I've been working away throughout the weeks. And if you can see the state of this gaff in here, what I'm currently looking at, you wouldn't go West Brom either. I need to do some painting. I've got so much to do. So I'm going to stream this game on Saturday. It's the first one I've missed this season. I'll be going to Plymouth as well, and the rest of the home games before the international break. So, going to give it a miss Saturday, but I will be streaming live and direct from Lions TV Towers from around 2:30 PM, and I'll be back for a live stream. No, not a live stream. I'll be back for a preview. I'm just going to leave that in. I can't bother to cut it out. For West Brom tomorrow. I'm going to try and get out about 1 PM on Friday. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.